So Jake, I know we spoke, I think in January it was, and you were a first-time property investor. You'd bought your home, and you were hearing a lot of people talk about investing, and you just didn't know what to follow. Would that be right, if I recall correctly?
Yeah, definitely. So I've done a bit of research online, and that was just, I almost found it pointless, the amount of different things you were hearing or seeing on there. And the people I was talking to, one of my mates wasn't too successful with the purchase he made. So he ended up selling that. And then I had my boss was telling me to buy brand new properties, and I just didn't know what direction to go with. So I
Mhm.
was, yeah, continuing my research online to find reliable information from people who knew what they were talking about. And like I was saying, my boss was saying to buy brand new properties, and it just never quite made sense to me why I'd buy a property that's costing me money. It didn't seem like a good investment idea to me. I was just, yeah, just I just felt like I was wasting time. So um, I guess there's no, it was just all sort of gradual work I was doing, or like investigating, or the research I was doing, and just built up. I was just getting sick of it, and that's sort of when I came across your Facebook page, the Property Addicts one. So, like you mentioned, I work a lot, do a lot of long hours for work, and a lot of night shifts. So I've just been, the past year, I've just been getting pretty over it. It's been 11 years of doing it. So I just wanted,
Mhm.
some sort of security in the future.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get an investment property, or maybe multiple in the future. And there's something that's going to help me not work such crazy hours, really.
What is it that you were aiming to achieve being part of the academy?
Um, I just getting better knowledge, really, from professionals. Yeah, and just finding an investment property I could, sort of rely on, instead of just guessing, essentially, and yeah, listening to people who didn't really know what they were talking about. Yeah.
How do you know if someone doesn't know what they're talking about? I'm just curious.
Oh well,
Because there's so many gurus out there, right, these
that's
days.
the thing. It's more so the way I look at it. If someone's, if it's their job for this, I'm listening to my boss who's just listened to someone else to buy brand new properties. And I was like, well, was that person that you spoke to, was he a property investor? And he's like, nah.
Mm.
And then different mates and stuff I'm reading online. And I just want to see proof, like know that this person does investing for a living, and they've got, they've been through it all. They've been doing it for years. That's sort of what I was after. It was plenty of time to do it. So, and now I feel like I've got a decent amount of knowledge to make good choices again. Just, yeah, I guess just go for it, because, yeah, the hesitations I had were not needed. It's just that amazing opportunity to go for. So she just jumped in straight away. The suburb selection was a massive one for me, because that's something that, like, I had a little bit of an idea with the house, but there's obviously the property selection that helped me narrow down a lot. But the suburb selection was a big one for me, because, again, you see in paper, like, the newspaper, they'll say these suburbs are good right now. But then it's like, well,
Yeah.
wouldn't everyone be buying there if it was good? Or maybe that's old news now. And so I think that was a massive one for me. And yeah,
Yeah.
just the qualitative and quantitative factors of the property itself is.
Do you think if you had gone on Google or listened to podcasts or read different blogs or listened to different gurus, you could have come up with all that information
Not
or
at all.
knowledge?
I don't think so. I don't think I would be able to. There might be some people out there that spend hours and hours and hours doing it, but yeah, I would probably just get annoyed, because like I previously went through, it's just you don't know what to listen to. So, um, you know, I did this course for, I think only, I think I saw you say the other day, it only took me 60 days to find a house.
Yeah,
Going through the
59
course.
or so.
Yeah, I was really surprised at that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, that I could have spent years. Like, I hear a lot of people saying they're researching for years and not making any decisions. So, well, to be honest, I didn't know much about buyer's agents to start off with, but it was only just before the course I found out, and I was like, oh, it was mostly just a cost factor to me. and then the note, like you pay for a buyer's agent, they'll find you an awesome property, but then you don't have the information to do it yourself again. So you've got to lay that out again to find another good property. There's stuff that, say, I didn't know too much about what happened in one of the courses, and then people start asking all these questions and it pieces everything together for you. No, I don't think I felt like wanting to quit. There was a time I definitely was struggling because, as you know, I had my wedding at the same time. I was working long hours at work. And then I went away for my honeymoon, missed out in 2 weeks, and I came back and I was like, oh no, people are making offers in houses, and I feel like I'm really far behind. But I just spent some Friday nights and Saturdays just going back through everything and really studying a bit more. But yeah, to be honest, those couple of weeks I missed out for the honeymoon, I feel like I made that up in like 3 days. So
That's awesome. So effectively in the 60 days, you got you were getting your finance sorted. You had your wedding planning and your wedding and then your honeymoon. And 55, then you still and 55 hours of work a week. And 55 hours of work per week, and you still managed to buy within 60 days.
Yeah, so it's definitely doable. I looked for an older house on a larger block that had potential for a bit of small renos just to make it nice, just to get a bit more rent. So yeah, that's essentially what I went for, and I was lucky enough to find one in Adelaide, so which is where I am.
Well, I was checking the typical price for the area has already increased something like 42 grand where you paid for the property. So you spent some 400, low 400s in the property, will break even. Oh, I believe it will, right? Jake, would that be right?
I think I get $20 a week in my bank, essentially. So
okay, awesome. Well, there might be some maintenance costs perhaps or vacancy to factor in, but that's pretty decent cash flow. And I understand. Yep, go on. Yeah, I'm just saying if you've potentially made 40 grand, I don't know if that's the case, but obviously if typical price in the area or median has risen by 40 grand, then you've already made money.
10% already, yeah.
Yeah, and the property's just settled not long ago.
That's it. I bought it. It's a really clean, like 60s house, so it's quite old. Just doing cosmetic stuff to it now, just get a bit better rent, so it's nice for tenants. But yeah, sure. So the reason I went for a bigger block as well was the potential to subdivide. And what I'd found out is I could get 2 detached dwellings on there, and I thought that was awesome, which is all good. But then later on, did a bit more research and called the council, and turns out I can get 3 townhouses on there. So
wow.
Well, I wasn't looking anywhere near the area I chose. I was looking. I think like the first things I sent through to the property selection things I looked at, and they just were nothing like what I bought. I was looking at a 2-story house with a crowded yard and needed a lot of work, and I just had no direction at all. I hate to say it, but I might have ended up with a new property or like a house and land package.
And tell us, why do you not like house and land packages?
Sort of, you can't do anything to make more value of the property. They're only going to depreciate.
So tell me, Jake, then, has your boss changed his mind since your purchase, or have you convinced them that brand new is not the way to go?
He doesn't want to listen to me. He can be a bit stubborn with things. So he was saying that his way of selling it to me is like, oh, I made 10,000 back in the first year.
Did you say I've made 40,000 back in 10 days? 10 days.
My other boss has been talking to me about what properties he should buy, because like, you sound like you know a bit more about it than what he does. So it's a massive relief. It's good that I've got that time back that I'm not spending researching, I guess. But now that's taken up by painting and fixing up the house. But it's all, it's all satisfying stuff, knowing that it's going to make me money.
So if you were to look back 90 days ago, could you imagine that you'd be here today, renovating this property and just about to put it on rent?
No. I would have still been looking. And a lot of other things people telling me is, it's a hot market now, you're going to overpay, but you never know when that market's going to slow down. So you're better off getting in now and being in early instead of waiting, year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows?
Really excited for you, Jake and Jade, because the key is starting. And just to share, Jake's only 30, really young, and already on path to paying down the owner occupied property as well over the next 10 to 15 years.
I think, yeah, as soon as this one's being rented out, I think I'll be looking again. I had a pretty keen interest on property to start off with. So I think that was a big driver for me as well. But if anyone's like, yeah, I've already told people actually to sign up to next year's or the next lot you do, because for that reason, just all the information you get out of it is very valuable, well worth the money.
Awesome. So well done on your purchase, and congratulations to you both for making it happen. Yes, it takes effort, and it's just about just going and applying and taking ownership of that decision. And now you can, as you've gone through that process and done this deal, you'd be able to repeat that process again from all the learnings you've had and the practical experience you've had over the last couple of months.